Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, Governor WAIGURU, the KIRINYAGA County Governor, has surfaced with a very bold statement saying that
mimi niko fair. Kama sasa nilikuwa nasikia watu wanasema breakfast ya 4 million. Kama mnataka breakfast because you're working late to make sure this digital works, I will provide those breakfasts so that work can continue. Because that 4 million they were talking about is 4 million for the entire year for our revenue collectors. These revenue collectors, we only pay them 15,000 shillings per person. Sasa nataka muniangalie 15,000. Alafu nimewaambia waniokote pesa ifike 700 million shillings. Now they have to be at the market at 4 a.m. Lori zikiingia, zikiweka mizigo wachukue tax. And then you tell me I don't give them a supplement to have breakfast. I have no apologies to make about that.
Based on Governor WAIGURU's bills and expenses, it's believed that 4 million was spent on chai. You know, unaona hii ukienda kwa this marketplaces whereby unaona kanjo anazunguka kanjo 4 million, they spent 4 million kukunywa chai tu. 4 million. So I want to believe that Governor WAIGURU is not at par with technology, because in this era, ladies and gentlemen, whereby people are doing collections using gadgets. You know, I've seen counties, when you go to maybe counties like, let's say for example Meru, unapata kumba kuna gadgets, PDA gadgets ama Android point of sales ambazo people pay bills with. Unaona kwa these days kuna again you can do your own e-citizen and the like na unalipa bill mwenyewe. So WAIGURU is saying that watu wake wakanjo urauka saa 10 asubuhi so that they can go and collect taxes, KIRINYAGA county taxes. So because wanarauka asubuhi, she has spent 4 million. I mean, let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. Easy counties, corruption iko juu. That's the reality. I mean, based on this, this revelation, counties pesa inapotea. That's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. I want us to go through two videos. One from Moses KAJWANG, and the second message is from WAIGURU. But before we get to those videos, kindly take this opportunity, like this video, subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for that support. Let's listen into what Governor WAIGURU had to tell us as to the reason why 4 million was spent on tea. You know, tea. Wale kanjo wanaingia kwa streets kuchukua pesa, wanachukua pesa. So they spent 4 million. So this is what she said.
Then you tell me I don't give them a supplement to have breakfast. I have no apologies to make about that. Because I want this staff to work. It is 4 in the morning. You are asleep in your bed. These people with only a salary of 15,000 shillings, surely. If we can spend 4 million shillings to get 400 million shillings, that is good mathematics, if you ask me. And we must be fair to our staff. I look at them, I tell them, sijui nifanya nini. I would like to increase your salaries. Lakini SRC menifunga mikono. But there's one thing I can do. Because you're working from 4 a.m. and work is supposed to start at 8, we will consider that extra time. Alafu wale wengine wako office, we tell them don't leave the marketplaces until after 10. You know our markets, how they operate. Surely, if you're going to keep people until 10 p.m. at night, the least you can do is give them a little allowance. So if I'm spending 4 million shillings for 12 months for me to reach my targets, na nilikuwa nimesema leo ni mkutano ya SHA, lakini hiyo kitu nitasema kwa sababu watu wanaongea ni kama it is a, si ndio? Niseme nisiseme, niongee nito.
Very well, ladies and gentlemen, and what Moses KAJWANG said in relation to this 4 million tea is as follows.
This is a sick joke. Spending 4 million on breakfast for revenue officers, your systems are already automated. You would expect that you do not need a lot of manual labor. You don't need ugali for them to go and collect, because that only happens in counties where they're still collecting using rungus and a basket. So can you tell us how this 4 million was spent on breakfast and lunches for revenue collectors? Unless members, you have seen it, because for me, Annex 2 is just a letter that has been photocopied from SRC. Has anyone seen the breakdown to see who ate lunch worth 4 million? No. Governor?
Chair, the information was provided to the auditors, to the best of my knowledge, according to the CEC. The question was on the justification of the payment, not for the provision of the list.
But it starts from there, Governor. You have been in the cabinet, and you know that when you go to Parliament, there are supplementary questions. We are not robots. We are going to ask further details, and that ought to be provided to Parliament. It is unconscionable for us just to say that we spent 4 million on breakfast, and because there was policy. Was it spent by one person, 2 people, 100 people, 200 people? That is very basic information that we need to know.
So do you buy this story by WAIGURU kwamba 4 million ilitumika kwa chai? Unajua mara nyingi Kanjo huwa wanaonekana wakitembea kwa vibanda, wakitembea kwa maduka, wakitembea kwa hizo areas, but hiyo si ni kazi yao. So when WAIGURU tells us about 4 million kutumika kwa chai, I think the whole country gets shocked. I mean, honestly speaking, there was a time, there was a story that governors have devised a way, or the ministries, or the government officials have devised a way of stealing money from the public coffers. How? Some of them create bills, local bills ambazo hazieleweki, kwa sababu issues of travel zilikuwa zimekuwa banned, so they create local bills ambazo sio kusafiri, because ya kusafiri walikuwa shapoa limit. Sasa atasema tulinunua unga kadhaa, tulinunua sufuria kadhaa, things which you cannot question much, so that money they use it on the travel. I think Auditor General gave us that explosive revelation that is what government officials, especially ministers were found to be using that tactic, whereby they create fictitious bills ambazo of course watu will not be watu audit. Ukisema kwamba tulikula sima, tulinunua unga 100 na tulikula tukamaliza, so how are you going to audit your unga walikula? That's because walikula. Like for instance, hii case ya governor WAIGURU, si anasema 4 million ilitumia kwa chai, so how are you going to audit the number of cups which were used? What if someone took 2 cups? What if there are people who took even 4 cups? How are you going to tell? Are you going to count the number of cups? You see, this is why naona kama Auditor General point yake ilikuwa ni sawa. Una ukora mwingi kwa hizi county. That is why you find that sometimes the government denies them pesa ya county, because when they are given more funds, they end up looking for possible ways of spending these funds. Like for instance, if you're given 2 billion, then you request for additional 1 billion. If you're given 2 billion, unapata county itaran. If you're given 3 billion, then again county itaran. So why should you be given more money if even 2 billion county itaran? You see, those are some of the things which naona kwamba mimi hata naona kwamba hizi county hata zenye mwepesa tu, because if someone can go to an extent of saying 4 million ilitumika kwa chai well, we know we are in a technological era whereby watu wanalipa tuna M-Pesa from whatever they are, and then zile accounts ambazo zime default, those are the people you target. You only target the people ambao wame default. Again, there are penalties. If you don't pay in time, you are penalized. Again, those are some of the way. But why would someone wake up at, because WAIGURU ametuambia kwamba watu wanarauka saa 11, saa 10 asubuhi. Saa 10 asubuhi wanarauka kwenda kucollect ushuru. Ushuru gani na collectwa saa 10 asubuhi hiyo? Ofisi hata za county zifunguliwe hiyo time. Saa 10 wamerauka sokoni kwenda kuchukua pesa. That is what I think is not adding up at all. So personally, I don't buy that story, Mimi. I don't know about you. Just go below in the comment section and tell us whether you buy Anne Waiguru's story of 4 million being spent on chai. I remember sometimes during a grilling of some Isiolo County governor, there was a similar scenario of crates za soda. Soda walikunywa sana. That could not be justified. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to rest my case there, but just go below in the comment section and tell us what to think about this revelation. Is Anne Waiguru telling us the truth? Just tell us below in the comment section. So perhaps if you're watching this video and you've not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video,